Good afternoon. This is Desiree Dubois, founder of Let's Talk Success, and I have the pleasure of meeting with Billie Bryant-Schultz, who's the president and CEO of Cesco Incorporated. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, we're here in beautiful Orlando, Florida, with the Enterprising Women's Awards, and congratulations on your award.
Well, thank you very much. It's an exciting award for me and a little bit out of my usual arena where I've worked for so many years. So it's great to be recognized.
It is. I'm sure you've earned every bit of every bit
I
of
don't
it.
know about that, but yes.
Yeah. So you have an interesting story. You started to tell me that you had no idea or no desire to be an entrepreneur. Tell us about it.
No, I really didn't have a desire to be an entrepreneur, but things happen in life, and sometimes you have to make lemonade out of lemon. And so illness came to my family, and I was a housewife raising children and doing the usual wonderful things in a community that women do, making a difference there. However, when life did change, I said, sure, I can do that, never realizing all of the ramifications of being an entrepreneur. As I said, I really never wanted to be one, but out of necessity with 3 sons, and I needed to step in and take the leadership role. It was a very service-oriented business, very male-dominated. The original manufacturer, the original business was a coin changer repair business and office equipment service. So it was mainly refurbished equipment, no equipment to sell. So I found myself, as I say, in a very male-dominated industry, and I tried to really thrive in that industry. However, I was having great difficulty, so I, at that time, turned the coin changer business over to my oldest son and said, I'm going to choose to grow the office equipment business, and that's what I chose to do. After several years of trying to get a manufacturer to allow me to sell their equipment, a lady moved up in the sales chain of Xerox, and she looked at all of the service that I was doing with some rather large entities, and she called me and said, I found your letter, and I realize that it's 2 years old, but are you still interested in selling our equipment? And I was just so excited. Oh, wow, I finally get an opportunity. Because the guys in the industry had said, well, once you have a line and you're successful with the line, you can have many. And I said, you're right.
You're waiting for that day.
Waiting for that to happen. But indeed, that is what has happened. I now represent Xerox, Lexmark, HP, Ricoh, Brother, Epson, and Dell. And so we not only do sales and service of that equipment, but now it's getting more like me. I have in the past had a very creative side and more into arts and designs and stuff of that nature. Well, all of a sudden, software has come along with the multifunction devices as they are today, multifunction copiers, printers, scanners, and all of those things that we do sell. But we also are now going into digitized workforce, and that includes a lot of software. It's about going green. It's about sustainability and creating a more cost-effective way of doing business. So my company does managed document services, which includes managed print, mobile print, follow me print, and the digitized workflow for many of the processes and procedures that involve document printing. It's all designed for printing less and costing less. Most people do not realize or pay much attention to their printers. They are not aware of how many they have or where they are most of the time. So what we do is help them find them and utilize either software to manage them or to have an on-site person that does the supplies and help them with anything they need as far as facilities management is concerned.
So just as a recap, so you were selling the equipment first for one company, and then you were doing so exceptional that you were able to represent different lines, and now you represent that multitude of lines, almost like a broker, basically, or as a representative?
We actually are an alliance partner with Xerox that allows me to do anything that they do in managed print services nationwide.
Great.
And I can do that through my partnerships with the manufacturers. We are a distributor, if you will.
Okay.
There's large distribution centers throughout the nation, and we can ship out of those distribution centers. We offer our own pricing, and we also, as I said, partner with the manufacturer to provide a collaborative effort if a major corporation is looking for a small business to do business in a partnership to serve them.
And you have a sales team?
Yes.
You do the sales team, so you have a lot of management. You have, how big of a team do you have?
Well, I only have 19 employees, but then I use some contract workers to do, for instance, we do large installation jobs for some of our manufacturers. Not only sell the equipment, but we go on site and set up the equipment, set up the IP addresses, and train them on how to use the equipment. Because one of the things that people seem to forget or don't pay that much attention to is how to utilize the multifunction devices in the right way, and how to utilize them in a way that they do drive the cost down in printing. They digitize more of the documents, and that way they don't have to come back and shred the documents later or store the documents. Our process can relieve the internal labor of the person that has to keep up with the supplies, because the automated software will actually order the supplies for them, so they don't have to, is your toner out? I need to order some, or you need paper. So all of that is relieved. In addition, the new equipment actually goes to sleep when they're not using it, so it uses less energy. And we all know we need to conserve energy as well as to not print as much, because particularly the toners all go into the landfill, and it takes, just to give you an example, 450 years for a cartridge to go away. So it's a big process, of course, to think about going digital, but it is an important step for our environment.
So in that industry, being such a niche, that first of all, you had to think about having that position, being a distributor, which is, predominantly male-dominated business.
Right.
You must have had some challenges along the way.
Yes, a few.
Can you share a couple with us that comes to mind?
For instance, the problem I had of finding the manufacturer that would believe in me, that would think that I could sell their equipment. And then along the way, women have problems with finance, because the perception of the woman business owner, I believe, is still we're smaller, that we maybe lack in financial how-to. But my company is 50 years old this year.
Wow!
Yes.
Congratulations! Wow.
So what a celebration.
Yes, it is. What a celebration. Quite a celebration.
Right. But I have had lots of circumstances where I have been beat primarily with the good old boy network, if you will, because it's still alive and well, particularly in Texas. And we really appreciate and our relationship with the male mentors that are available today for us, particularly those men who have daughters, because they do get it. Even their daughters, as they're coming out of college and wanting to go into technology or math or science or engineering, all of those things are very hard still for the girls to manipulate through the process. Not only for me in technology right now, very few women inside the the IT departments. So it's still very, very challenging. Recently, when I won a nationwide managed print project, there were probably near 20 men in the room, and I was the only woman there at the table. So those things are still very alive and well, but it's quite rewarding when you win, and that you're able to operate on that level. They began to build a respect for our services. We have a wonderful customer service reputation. We have one company that we have served over 17 years.
Wow.
We are the prime contractor on that contract. We manage the whole thing. Xerox is our subcontractor. So that's quite a feat. And then that long-term contract helped me get another national contract because of the historical data that they could pull regarding our services. So when a large corporation decides to have a small business, particularly a woman-owned business, because we're very much caretakers, they get the very best of both the manufacturer, of course, and then the woman-owned businesses to stand in the gap, to pick up anything that is loose end. We have particular labor roles that we perform in those situations. We can do the EDI billing, for instance, on the contract. We can do the in-house, what they call DocuCare, or we also perform service. We do the break fix, and as I said before, we do the installs. So we're very labor intensive, and bring a good team to the table when we cooperate with a manufacturer.
Well, has there been, and I'm sure there has been, any moments where you didn't want to go on or didn't know if you can go on? And I ask that because, we're all in the throes and it's a journey, and sometimes we get to that place where we just think, okay, too much, or we can't make it, or it's not worth it, or whatever. Share a situation maybe like that with you and how you brought yourself out of that, obviously, on the other side.
Well, in 2008 and 9, the economy really went in the tank. That was a hard time. And you really, I did think, maybe I just need to give this up. But, it was an interesting thing, and I think it is me. Recently, I belonged to the Women's Presidents Organization, and I was meeting with my group of women. And we, counsel each other, we advise. And so that day we were doing this exercise about, we're going around the room and saying what the other women thought about us. And I was going through some difficult times. I was putting a hard proposal together, and I almost didn't go that day. And I was feeling kind of, funky like you do sometimes. And like, I don't really.
We know. But you went?
I went, and I was the first one that they picked to go around the room and say about what I was like. And they said the word that meant the most to me was resilient. And that's what I have been. I have been not only resilient through a lot of difficulty, because I at one time, I have a farm in East Texas, and at one time I had to hawk the farm because it was a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really hard thing for me to do, and I wanted to throw in the towel. But I thought, no, I've worked too hard. I'm going to do this. And of course, I got the loan, and I got through it, and no longer is the farm hawked. So,
it's just
anyway,
part of the course, isn't it?
But they said a lot of other nice things about me. They said that I was quiet, but I was strong. And I know that I have been. I've had to be. Not only taking care of an illness situation in my family, but running the business also,
Mm-hmm.
and the 3 sons. So women are very resilient, I think, is because we do a lot of things. We're multitaskers, and sometimes people don't pay a lot of attention to all the things all the balls that are up in the air that we try to juggle, and we do. So I can say that, I am really proud of where the company is today in the transition. I tell my friends, I have reinvented this company like 3 different times.
Okay.
And right after the downturn in 2008-9, I worked really hard to make the transition to be more than just a sales organization, but to do the document management where I could see that was the future.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that was all about sustainable business. It was all about going green. It was all about cutting cost. And it was about doing the document printing in the right way with the resources that we have today. Technology is just evolving at the speed of light, and you must keep up with it or you will go stagnant. And I could see just a sales organization really was not going to be the future. So I'm excited about where the company is today and the transition. It costs money to transition a company. And so I've made that transition and so excited about this award. And I want to meet other women that have, because it really excites me to see what women can do and others that have done like things.
Yeah, so you must have victories. So just the transition, and I honor you so much for being able to have that foresight and have, again, the guts and the energy to make that transition. Because sometimes people they get just too worn down, too beaten down, just figure enough is enough. So you really had to have a good foresight to be able to do that. So now, some of the victories, what have been some of the victories, the celebrations, the points where you like, okay, yes, I did it, or I made it, or your aha moments?
Right. Well, it's always, when you win a new contract. It's always the best thing. Oh, yes, let's have a glass of wine and celebrate.
That's always a victory worth celebrating.
Right.
Absolutely.
My first national account was a celebration.
Really? So where did that take you, like as far as dollar amount? How did that grow your company? How did it change?
Well, it grows it significantly. That growth that we had this last year was part of that. So it was a contract that I won, nationwide contract that I won in 2013. And then the continued business with other major corporations that we do, because as they transition, and many corporations are transitioning today, we have been a constant in the operation, and that's a value. The small business that knows the people and can serve the people when the corporation is evolving, maybe it's a sellout, another company is joining. We've been very valuable in situations like that. So it's always about celebrating when you win a new piece of business. But it's also celebrating here with enterprising women. This is exciting for me. I've won a lot of awards with WeBank, and when I was doing my advocacy for the value of certification to women, many people, I believe, saw me as only an advocate because I was so deep into the community and into being a woman business owner. One of the things that I haven't said, and this is so me again, as I said, I did not set out to be an entrepreneur, but out of necessity, I caught the disease. And I do believe that it is a disease. Now, at the same time, I caught the necessity of economic development for women because I saw a different side that was happening in our world that wasn't equal opportunity for women. It was not fair. Mm-hmm. And so I had no network when I came into the business, and networks and relationships is just the key.
Yes.
So as I started to work on the initiative for a certification process for women, I built many relationships in the community, and I still am so passionate about women who work, and not just women business owners, but women in corporate America and women everywhere that need to earn a equal wage, because I'm sorry, I get kind of emotional about this.
No, it's precious. It's precious. No.
Because there are many single women in the world today
that are raising
that
families,
are trying to raise children,
put them in college, and schools,
put them in college, and all of the things that they're going through. And I still so desire to see some of these things fixed. And so when we talk about the things that can mentor young girls, it has to do with STEAM in my industry particularly.
Mm-hmm.
It is about science, technology, math, and arts. And it is STEAM today, not STEM. So they've added arts only recently. And I relate to the arts particularly because I was very artistic in the community where I was, and I did painting and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I know that's not an easy industry. And for me and my business and landing in technology, I know that's not easy either. So I'm very familiar with those two industries and how women are still excluded. So I just would like to see more change there.
You know, it's so funny because we've seen that we've come so far. You know, I see these women that are now, involved, and yet we still have so far to go.
We do.
And just tell us briefly a little bit about the certification process. I think some of the ladies don't know that's available.
Right.
And again, it was brought to my attention just recently.
Okay.
What the certification process.
Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
Tear run down.
Oh, that's so precious, though.
Well, one of the things that has been important to me in working for women-owned businesses is the establishment of the Women's Business Enterprise National Council and the value that can be to the woman business owner. I was among the group of women that established the Women's Business Council Southwest, and then 2 years later, the national organization that I would like to encourage all women to go through the process of certification, because we have to be credible. The first thing we have to be is credible, because we have to show people that we do run the business, we manage the business, and we're there for the long haul. So the credibility is very critical. It's up to us to prove our capability. So I would like to encourage any woman business owner to get certified. And there are 14 centers throughout the nation that they can pull up WeBank on the website and see where they're located. And it is the local entity that does the certification process. And major corporations who belong on our board and work in the local council actually do the certification process. So it's a wonderful process that can be valuable to you, particularly if you want to do business in the large accounts today.
So is there any certain businesses or type of businesses that are that's more necessary than others?
No, I think it's many corporations are looking for many kinds of businesses.
So any kind of business,
yes.
Restaurant, fashion, industry, all of it. Okay.
And we have retailers of all kinds in who belong to the organization. And we have a database with those corporations as well as a database of women business owners. So as I said before, we have created another group of people that we could do business with, and that's the women business owners. It's our peers. So not only do we do business with major corporations, but our peers. And of course, the most wonderful thing is the friendship that we build throughout the organization. And just as a side note, this coming June, we will host the national convention in August. In Austin, Texas. I'm sorry. We'll host in June, Austin, Texas, the National We Bank Convention. And I am one of the women on the host committee. And we're going to have a good time in Texas.
Great.
And then this next, in November, we will celebrate 20 years at the Women's Business Council Southwest. And I am the woman business owner key sponsor, so I'm very honored to have that place, and it will be a big celebration at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, which is where the Cowboys play.
So you've had quite an array of not only business exposure with men and business and corporations. What would you say are some of your secrets to success? Like, what is that something that if you had to do it over again, you would implement, or if you would advise anyone anywhere in their journey to say, this is some of the secrets. If you do this, this could happen, and just kind of.
Well, I don't believe you should ever stop learning, and I believe strongly in teams. In your team, you're only as good as the team that surrounds you. So I have a wonderful team. Many of them have been with me a lot of years. I think the longest has been 18 years.
Wow.
But anyway, my employees are generally long-term, and I value them greatly. And so I think that some of my success has been them knowing that I value them and wanting to do the job right. I recently, in fact, this last year, I did the 10,000 small businesses, which is what Goldman Sachs is doing around the country. That was a really wonderful, rewarding experience that I got to, there were, I think, 40 of us that did that. And so it exposed me to a whole nother group of small business people, not just women, because my network generally for small women-owned businesses has been in the women's network. But this was another expansion of exposure to a lot of different types of industries that were male-run. Very diverse function that was done by the college there in Dallas. And we're still engaged as alumni of the group. So I think it's very, very important that you keep, I've done the TUC program, which is a program that's done with WeBank. And so it's anything that you can take advantage of for learning as a woman and helping to change the attitude toward women, the perception, if you will, that we don't quite measure up.
As we do.
So I would think is, being persistent and letting people know that you're resilient, and my friends say that I'm quiet spoken. However, you have to be persistent, and there's a lot of P words that go along with that.
We get the idea. So what empowering thought would you like to leave them with today?
Never give up. I have strong faith in who God is and who God is in my life, and a lot of prayer, and a strong belief in, if you work hard and do the right thing, that there is a plan for you, His plan, that will help you get through the hard times. And be thankful. Be thankful along the way, and joyous about the blessings that come. And sometimes we get so intense on the working through the hard times, we forget to really look at all the blessings. And next to this award, I think WeBank gives Applause Award out, and I was the first woman business owner to get the Applause Award. And so that was very meaningful to me, because it validated the fact that I had helped women. They were applauding me, and I had this big award that was like a bowling ball. It was a brass award that was huge.
Good. That's awesome. That's great.
Sometimes you have to have a visible thing.
Yes. Sometimes you have to be able to reach out and touch it, but
yes.
I can see it in your heart, and we thank you for it. Thank you for all that you've done for other women.
Oh, thank you. I just have. It's joyous for me when I see other women that have taken advantage of, because now there are many women who are very, very large. One of my friends has actually said that she was only about 30 million when she joined WeBank in 2004, I think it is. And I think she's about 200 million now.
Oh.
So
that's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's amazing. And this is all very good to know that's even possible.
Right. Because it gave her the additional credibility that she could utilize going forward.
Well, I thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories.
Thank you for thinking about me.
No.
There's a lot of awesome women here, more awesome than me.
No, they're all good, and I want to thank you so much.